obviously there's Facebook groups associated with pretty much anything you can possibly think of at this point in time. So maybe, and this is the point about being early in some platforms, maybe the opportunity to really launch a Facebook group today and really grow it into something unique is going to be tougher to do because the market is so crowded. However, because there are groups associated with almost everything, it gives you the opportunity to join those groups and become part of the conversation. And some of those groups have I was just talking to a client the other day of ours that has particular content that would be very interesting, not spammy at all, very interesting to a particular group. And that group has 80,000 members. And I was talking to them about the fact that, yeah, we can run Facebook ads, we can do all these things, but this is a group of people that are interested in your type of content or your type of product. And we can share content that isn't going to feel spammy at all, because this is the type of content people that are members of that group are looking for. And then before you know it, you become one of the top contributors to that group or whatever, and you become a respected voice. So it doesn't have to be your group for you to benefit from that. I think, we have a community group here in the town that I live in. It's called Village Block Club. And there's a lot of conversations that go on in that, and people asking questions and things like that. And if you become part of that group and you're willing to answer questions, and not just the questions that are always beneficial to you, but answer questions. And if somebody's looking for a product or service that you offer, maybe offering, hey, answer their question, say, just so you know that we offer da-da-da-da-da. You can leverage that group in a positive way to impact your business, even if you didn't start the group. Now, again, if you're going in there with the intent that every time you post, you're going to spam people and you're going to talk about, hey, you should buy from me, one or two things. You're either going to get an email or a message from the moderators telling you to knock it off, number one, or you're going to probably get people to just start tuning you out. Because I use the analogy of, and I may have even heard this from Gary years and years and years ago, of a cocktail party, and the group is essentially a huge cocktail party, and all the members are people within the cocktail party. And you would think that it was rude if you were to be invited to a cocktail party to go in with a pile full of business cards and walk around the room as quickly as you could and just hand everybody a business card and then leave the room. People would throw your business card right in the trash and be like, that guy's a jerk or that girl's a jerk, and they'd never consider doing business with you. When you go into a group and you're never contributing, you're never being active in the group, and then when you do show up, you're just posting things that are promotional about you and or your product or service, it's the same thing as walking into that cocktail party and hitting everybody with a business card and walking out the door. People look at it as rude. People look at it as somebody that's not really invested in the community. And ultimately, you not only probably don't help yourself by doing that, you probably actually hurt yourself by doing that. So I feel like, groups can really be utilized to grow and benefit your business and take nothing more than your time to spend a little bit of time. It's not, you don't have to spend money, but you have to do it properly, and you can't go out of control. Here's the thing, though, that you need to understand, that if you contribute, if you're a beneficial member of the community, and you occasionally want to throw a right hook and just do a straight up promotional post, people will probably be much more receptive to it, because you've almost earned the right to throw a right hook. But if you just come in and start throwing right hooks right out of the gate, it's not going to go over well for you.
Yeah, I was going to say too, with like going along with your location around your city, I think that's something. Having my own marketing company, I kind of went around and looked at a lot of different the groups that were, whether you're a small business in a particular town. So Almost in every major city, there are multiple entrepreneur small business groups that you can join. And that way you can kind of put yourself out there. If it is, granted, some of those groups are fairly spammy. So kind of figure out one that kind of fits your personality as far as what you're willing to post, if that's the case. A few of the ones that I feel are probably the better ones is they have like one particular day. All right, so Monday you can do promotional posts. Otherwise, it's not, and we'll block it and we'll kick it out. And you could just have to answer questions, or kind of if you want to put a poll up and kind of do stuff. But any type of promotional post, is not allowed on any day but Monday. And it's definitely one of those things that kind of get yourself out there. You can also see your competition and understand, like, what are they doing? Are they a part of these groups? Are they putting out engaging content? And not to say to straight copy them, but at least it hopefully will give you ideas of things that you can do to kind of engage and hopefully bring you customers. And that kind of goes across the board, whether you're in window tint or anything else. It's just, it's a way to kind of put your name out there in front of other people. And granted, with a lot of these groups too, you have to realize it might be all just straight businesses, but I think and it's going to be harder to market to other businesses that are in your area. But if, say, you guys have a similar connection,
sure,
we'll put you essentially.
Well, here's the thing too. We all know that word of mouth is the best marketing you can have. So again, I'm part of a local group that is essentially a networking group. We get together every Tuesday morning, early in the morning before the workday starts. And you would be obviously amazed. It's one of the reasons these groups exist, at how many times business opportunities just get teed up from people telling somebody else, hey, I know somebody that does that. So even in those groups that are primarily other businesses, if you're in there and you're engaging and you're providing value, somebody may just say, hey, there's a guy in the group that does that. His name's Ronnie. Here's how to reach him. So although that business might not utilize your service, it doesn't mean that by you being in there and it's one of the reasons we've always talked within some of our clients that are in the industry of doing like, commercial type of projects and things like that, that benefits to be part of BOMA, the Building Owners Management Association, or ASID for interior designers, or a variety of these different things. Because if you're in that group and people realize that you're bringing value and you're showing up and things like that, then you stand the chance that somebody's going to potentially, tell somebody about your business, maybe utilize it themselves, whatever. But I think people have to be really careful. I see way too many people join groups and immediately, and because I manage a couple groups, I see it from the moderation standpoint, where I approve somebody's membership and like within 2 minutes, they're already full on, like their first post is straight spam. They've been in the group for 2 minutes. So.
No, I was going to say too, going off to the networking thing is one of those things too. And I guess it's a kind of a gut check thing, because I've wanted, and I'm probably going to start a couple with other marketers to just kind of bounce things off. And granted, they're friends. And so I kind of want to create a little mastermind group. And so that might be something that you might find by joining one of these groups, or people who aren't maybe a direct competitor. If you have a brick and mortar shop and you join a group that has somebody, whether it's across town or in a different city, that you can kind of bounce ideas off of, and like, hey, did this work for you? Obviously, if you're next door to your competitor, that might not be the best thing, but it's a way to at least being friendly and kind of open the new ideas. It might find some of the blind spots that you might not realize that you have.
I was talking to somebody over the weekend, and they, because I talk to a lot of people that do marketing, do what we do, but there's so much business out there that we don't really view each other, obviously, as competitors. And, they were just sharing with me a couple of things they kind of stumbled across that really were helping them. And like I said, it goes vice versa. I would share information with them as well, but the reality is, it's not just if you're running a business that it's hard to keep up on all this stuff with regard to that. It's hard for us to keep up on everything. So a lot of times you stumble across something that's really working by doing it, just being involved in doing it every day. And, so for me, I find being part of groups, not just, groups related to trying to land clients, but groups related to building my own knowledge and my own skill set, and just reading what's going on, asking questions. I just was in a group this morning and I asked a question because there was a guy there that was really knowledgeable, and he didn't want to share, the knowledge that he had online. So he literally DM'd me and gave me a bunch of really good information. But again, I would have never had that interaction. He would have never DM'd me and gave me all that information if not for the group, and if not for me asking the question, and in some ways being active enough in the group to where they felt like, okay, this guy is, for lack of a better term, earned the right for us to, earned the ability for us to spend time to respond to him and things like that, because he's brought value to the group. And I mean, like a lot of things in business, you know, in order to fully, take advantage of this, it takes some work. I mean, there's no easy button to a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is you've got to spend the time, you've got to be involved, you've got to do the work. But there's a lot of benefit to doing the work if you know what you're doing and you do it properly. But I mean, a lot of people come to us and they want to be like, hey, is there some silver bullet, that we could throw some money at you and you can do this and it's going to make all the difference. And the short answer to that, I always tell people, is no. I mean, we can certainly do things that are hopefully going to get you some engagement pretty quickly and get things moving in the right direction. But most things that are valuable are going to take time.